Okay, continuing with number 19. So I had counted up the period just by going from max to max. That was 9. I went and took out the period formula. I put 9 in for the period, which I got off the graph, copied the right-hand side of the formula, and solved for B. I did in order, some solving tactics that I used was really a shortened version of cross multiplication. Since my variable is in the bottom and I needed it to be on the top, I switched this for that. For the 9, that's a legitimate cross multiplying strategy. That B goes up there, the 9 comes to the bottom. You now have the B value, which is essentially all you needed to write this equation. This is a cosine graph because it doesn't go through 0, 0. When it goes through 0, 0, it's a sine graph. And it climbed upward right away, which means it's a right side up cosine graph. Whereas this one down here, see how it goes down right away? It doesn't go through 0, 0, so it's not sine. It goes down right away. That's a flipped over cosine graph. So anyway, back to this problem. Writing the equation, we're going to use that form right there. The amp is just how tall these waves are. See, if you go from x-axis to the top of that wave right there, it's 3 units. Or if you go from x-axis down to the bottom of that wave, it's 3 units. So that's your amp. So this is going to be A for amp times cosine. And then that is what they call the B. They use that symbol for the B value. Different books use different things. Okay, so just go put your little B value, which is 2 pi over 9. And then you put the x right next to it. And that's your equation. Finishing off this section with number 20. Okay, so number 20. Again, I'm going to go from amp to amp. And you can, from minimum to minimum. So I can go like that, just since there's 2 minimums available, but there aren't 2 maxes. So I'd be going from 0 all the way to 8 pi. Because this time there are pi type numbers on the x-axis. So your period actually has the symbol pi in it. Usually there's just regular numbers and not pi, but it can be done either way. Take out the period formula, just like I did in number 19. Formula for sine or cosine period is 2 pi over b. Go and take the period, which you've observed by going from min to min. It's a distance of 8 pi, and put it right in there for the word period. Copy the right side of the formula and solve for b. Using the cross multiplying strategy that I showed you in problem number 19, I'm going to switch the b for this 8 pi and bring the 8 pi down here. Just interchange them. Leave that 2 pi that was in the top. Take the b and put it up here. And take the 8 pi and put it where the b is. A form of cross multiplying. Right away, that allows you to get the b value. The pi's cancel, leaving you with 1/4. Okay, now write the equation. This is a flipped over cosine graph. I know it's not a sine graph because it doesn't go through 0, 0. So I'm going to be using the cosine equation again. I need to count up the number of spaces that it takes to get from the x-axis to the minimum point or from the x-axis to the top. That distance is, let's see what that is. Okay, so let's see. These are each 1. That looks like it's a 9. So from here to here is 9, which is equal to the amp. I need that amp to write the equation. So using this equation right here, it's the amp first, then the cosine. That little omega symbol is what they use for the b value. And we just found out that our b value is, let me bring this down here just so it looks a little better. This is when we switched them. We put the b up there and the 8 pi down here, so we ended up getting 1/4. So now come right in here and go 1/4. The x can go to the side or up at the top. Do not dip it below this fraction bar because then that means something else. Okay, so there's your finished answer. And the other thing that we have to do, well, it's almost finished, is we have to put in here, the negative so that you understand that it's a flipped over cosine graph and not one that goes right side up. So that's important to put that negative. And now it's completely done. Okay, that completes everything up through 20 for section 6.4.